Imagine waking up one morning, the sun shining through your window, and you check your bank account, millions staring back at you. You're living the dream, luxury cars, lavish vacations, private jets at your beck and call. Every day feels like a celebration, a whirlwind of opulence. But then, reality hits. One impulsive decision, one reckless investment, and suddenly, that dream life shatters. You're left staring at an empty wallet, wondering how it all slipped away so fast. Friends turn into strangers, and the lavish parties fade into silence. We often chase wealth, thinking it brings happiness, but it can vanish in an instant. What remains is a stark reminder: true wealth isn't just about money, it's about the choices we make and the relationships we build. Imagine standing on top of the financial world, the view breathtaking, the possibilities endless. But then, in a blink, you're at rock bottom. How does that happen? It often starts with complacency, thinking you're invincible. You neglect to diversify your investments, putting all your eggs in one basket. Then comes the lifestyle inflation. Suddenly, you're living beyond your means, chasing status instead of security. And let's not forget the emotional roller coaster. Fear and greed can cloud judgment. One bad decision, one market crash, and everything crumbles. To avoid this fate, stay grounded. Keep learning, adapt to changes, and always have a safety net. Remember, wealth is not just about accumulation, it's about sustainability. Stay humble, stay smart, and you'll keep climbing instead of falling. In today's video, we're diving into shocking real-life stories of individuals who went from millionaires to broke, unraveling their biggest mistakes along the way. Stick around, because the twists and turns in these stories will blow your mind. Meet John. At 35, he was a millionaire. From nothing, he built a tech startup that sold for millions. With the cash flowing in, he bought everything he'd ever wanted: luxury cars, a mansion, and the best private school education for his kids. John felt like he was invincible. Success can be a double-edged sword. I remember when John hit it big, the thrill was intoxicating. But that high can distort your perspective. He jumped headfirst into real estate, convinced he could capitalize on the booming market. It felt like a gold rush, but here's the catch: a booming market can be a mirage. The rush of easy profits can blind you to the risks lurking beneath the surface. John started making decisions that were more about ego than strategy. He ignored the signs, thinking he was invincible. But in the world of investment, overconfidence can be your worst enemy. The lesson? Success can cloud your judgment, and sometimes, the biggest risk is believing you can't fail. In just a few short months, everything John had built came crashing down. John's investments? Gone. John had poured every last cent into the housing market, convinced it was a sure thing. He thought he was playing it smart, but John was just playing with fire. No diversification, no safety net. John took out high-interest loans, dreaming of my next big project, but all he did was dig my own grave. John was blinded by ambition, thinking he could ride the wave forever. Now, John left picking up the pieces, learning the hard way that in this game, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. It's a lesson John won't forget. I remember the day it all fell apart. John had it all: luxury cars, a beautiful house, a thriving business. But in a blink, it vanished. Was it the market crash that took everything? Sure, that played a part. But the real issue ran deeper. It was the blind trust in quick gains, the refusal to adapt when the tides turned. He ignored the signs, thinking he was invincible. The truth is, success can be a double-edged sword. It breeds complacency, and when reality hits, it hits hard. John didn't just lose money, he lost his identity, his dreams. It's a harsh reminder that in the world of finance, resilience is just as crucial as ambition. Let's look at another shocking tale. This one involves a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Stay tuned. This next story is about Sarah. She wasn't just wealthy, she was a billionaire. A self-made entrepreneur, she had built an empire in the fashion industry. From the outside, her life looked perfect. She was on the cover of Forbes. She had the power, the fame, and the fortune. But here's where things get really interesting. Sarah had a secret addiction: gambling. At first, it was just a little fun, a way to blow off steam. But it didn't stay that way for long. The stakes kept getting higher. Soon, she was betting millions on sports, horse races, and even online poker. Sarah thought she was on top of the world, but the truth hit hard. Her empire, built on dreams, was crumbling under the weight of borrowed money. Each investment she made felt like a sure thing, but they were just mirages in the desert of my finances. The thrill of the tables was intoxicating, but with every loss, she sank deeper into a pit of debt. It was a vicious cycle, chasing losses with more bets, hoping for a miracle that never came. Sarah had to face the reality. She was playing a game she couldn't afford to lose. So, what did Sarah do next? She had to make a choice, either keep digging or find a way out. And that's when she realized, sometimes the bravest move is to walk away. Sarah remembered the moment she decided to take that leap. The thrill of chasing a dream, but it quickly spiraled into a nightmare. Sarah thought she could outsmart the system, that she could beat the odds. So, Sarah borrowed from lenders who promised the moon, each loan a desperate gamble. Sarah kept telling myself, this time it'll work. But the truth? The house always wins. She watched as her hopes crumbled, her debts piled up, and the walls closed in. In the end, it wasn't just money she lost, it was her peace, her future. The house didn't just take her savings, it took everything she held dear. Sarah was on top of the world, a billionaire with everything she could ever want. But in a blink, it all vanished, $0, nothing to her name. How did she end up here? It started with a few bad bets, thinking she could outsmart the odds. Loans piled up, each one a desperate attempt to reclaim her lost fortune. But the real issue? A complete lack of self-control. She was living in a fantasy, ignoring the warning signs. When Sarah hit rock bottom, she had to face the truth. It wasn't just about money, it was about her. She had to rebuild from scratch, learning to embrace humility and resilience. The journey was brutal, but it taught her more than wealth ever could. Sarah remembered the day vividly. Her friend Jake, a regular guy with dreams bigger than his bank account, stumbled upon a viral video challenge. Overnight, she became an internet sensation, racking up millions of views. The allure of instant fame was intoxicating. Brands came knocking, offering sponsorships and flashy deals. But here's the catch, Jake didn't read the fine print. She signed contracts that promised quick cash but tied him to long-term obligations. Within months, the fame faded and the bills piled up. Sarah was left with a tarnished reputation and a mountain of debt. Jake learned the hard way that chasing fame without a plan can lead to financial disaster. Fame isn't always what it seems, sometimes it's a mirage that can cost you everything. I remember when Brian was just another face in the crowd, sharing his daily life from a small apartment. Fast forward a few years, and his Instagram feed is a whirlwind of private jets, luxury vacations, and designer outfits. It's like he's living in a dream world, but here's the catch, his rise to fame isn't just about luck. Brian mastered the art of storytelling, curating a lifestyle that captivated thousands. He turned mundane moments into aspirational content, showcasing not just the glitz, but the hustle behind the scenes. But as followers, we often forget the reality behind those perfect posts. Is it all as glamorous as it seems, or just a highlight reel? Brian's journey is a reminder that social media can blur the lines between reality and fantasy, leaving us questioning what's truly authentic. Brian built his wealth through social media, racking up millions of followers. It felt like he was living the dream, but behind the glitz was a secret, credit. Brian didn't have the cash for my lavish lifestyle, so he borrowed cars, clothes, vacations, you name it. At first, it was exhilarating. Brand deals flowed in, and he was on top of the world. But then, the deals dried up. Suddenly, the debt piled up, and the dream turned into a nightmare. Brian learned the hard way that living on borrowed money can lead to a crash that's just as spectacular as the rise. Brian remembered the day it all spiraled out of control. He was drowning in credit card debt, each statement a reminder of his poor choices. Bills piled up, and he thought he could manage it, just one more purchase, one more month. But then the calls started. Debt collectors were relentless, their voices cold and unforgiving. Brian felt like his world was collapsing, each knock on the door echoing his failure. He had built this life, this empire of convenience, but it was all an illusion. The weight of his decisions crushed him, and Brian realized he had to face the music. It was time to confront the mess he had made and find a way out before it consumed me completely. But Brian's story doesn't end with him losing it all. No, this is where it gets interesting. How did he get back on his feet? Or did he even try? Let's take a moment to digest all these failures. Each misstep, each setback, they all tell a story. What's fascinating is that these individuals, despite their struggles, shared a common thread: they all ignored the power of reflection. They rushed forward, chasing the next big thing, without pausing to analyze what went wrong. The lesson here is simple yet profound: take time to reflect. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Embrace those lessons, because they're the stepping stones to success. Avoid the trap of blind ambition. Instead, let your failures be your greatest teachers. Every story of financial struggle shares a common thread: poor choices. Think about it. It's not just about bad luck or unfortunate events, it's about decisions made without understanding the consequences. Imagine investing in a scheme that promises quick returns, only to watch your savings vanish. Or racking up credit card debt because you didn't grasp the impact of high interest rates. Financial literacy isn't just a buzzword, it's a lifeline. It's about knowing how to budget, understanding credit, and making informed investments. The real tragedy isn't the misfortune itself, but the missed opportunities to learn and grow. With the right knowledge, we can turn those stories of regret into tales of triumph. Each of these individuals thought they could outsmart the system, convinced that luck was on their side. But here's the truth: the system isn't a game of chance, it's a carefully crafted blueprint built on sound strategies and deep knowledge. They dove in headfirst, ignoring the lessons from their past mistakes, believing they could rewrite the rules. But every misstep is a teacher, and they failed to take notes. The real winners are those who analyze, adapt, and learn. It's not about beating the system, it's about mastering it. The stakes are high, and without a solid plan, the house always wins. Imagine waking up one day to find your financial security hanging by a thread. It's a reality for many, but it doesn't have to be yours. The truth is, money isn't just about earning, it's about understanding. Every dollar you make is a tool, and without the right knowledge, those tools can turn against you. Think about it: the world of finance is constantly evolving. New investment opportunities, market trends, and economic shifts happen every day. If you're not keeping up, you risk falling behind. Educating yourself about money isn't just a choice, it's a necessity. Read books, listen to podcasts, attend workshops, immerse yourself in the wealth of information out there. Your financial future depends on it. Remember, knowledge is your greatest asset. Protect it, nurture it, and watch your wealth grow. Financial failures can be eye-opening, can't they? Take the infamous case of Blockbuster, which had the chance to buy Netflix for a mere $50 million. Instead, they laughed it off, thinking their rental model was unbeatable. Fast forward, and we all know how that story ended. Then there's the tale of Kodak, a giant in photography that invented the digital camera but chose to stick with film, ultimately fading into obscurity. And who could forget Lehman Brothers? Their reckless investments led to the 2008 financial crisis, shaking the global economy to its core. These stories remind us that even the biggest players can stumble. What's your take? Which financial blunder left you speechless? Financial success isn't just a number on your paycheck, it's about the choices you make with that money. Think about it: earning a high salary is great, but if you're spending it all, what's the point? It's like running a race but never crossing the finish line. Start by tracking your expenses. You might be surprised at where your money is going. Cut out the unnecessary subscriptions and consider cooking at home instead of dining out. Every dollar saved is a dollar that can work for you. Investing is key. Put your money into assets that grow over time: stocks, real estate, or even a solid retirement plan. The earlier you start, the more you benefit from compound interest. And don't forget about budgeting. create a plan that prioritizes saving and investing. Remember, it's not just about making money, it's about keeping it and making it work for you. Financial freedom is within reach if you take control today. If you enjoyed what you just watched, consider hitting that subscribe button. Joining our community means you'll never miss out on the exciting content we create. By subscribing, you're not just supporting us, you're becoming part of a journey where we explore, learn, and grow together. Plus, you'll gain access to exclusive insights and tips that can elevate your experience. Your engagement fuels our passion, and we love hearing your thoughts in the comments. So, if you want to stay connected and be part of something special, go ahead and subscribe. Let's keep this adventure going.